ground to cockpit. Plan acknowledged. Call me through the menu when you're ready.
Ryanair.
Flight slow. Pull up. Wind shear. Wind shear. Wind shear. Terrain. Terrain. Pull up. Obstacle. Obstacle. Pull up. Airspeed low.
Adjust vertical speed. Adjust. Climb. Climb now. Climb. Climb now. Climb. Crossing. Climb. Climb. Crossing. Climb. 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 Clear of conflict. Descend. 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 Crossing. Descend. Descend. Crossing. Descend. Descend. Descend now. Descend. Descend now. Increase climb. Increase climb. Increase descent. Increase descent. Maintain vertical speed. Maintain. Maintain vertical speed. Crossing. Maintain. Monitor vertical speed. TCAS test. Pass.
Alright, good morning guys, good morning. Welcome to the stream here. I've started to get going here already. As always, nice to see you all here and I hope you enjoy the stream with me. Ora, Paul, Yoki, Martin, good morning, and we've got Craig on Discord here with us. Not sure if he's still here, I can see him sitting here. So anyway, Craig, you are live on the air. Thank you for joining me. If any of you other guys want to join me on Discord, feel free. We just want to have fun here. It's not a very formal thing, so feel free.
And a very good morning to you, Nico. I'm here, just currently flying at the moment.
Great stuff. Yeah, we're doing a virtual Ryanair again today, so that's what's happening. Good morning, Ryan. Me and John Reynolds have been having fun with virtual Ryanair during the week. He can't be with us because he's going out to a actual flight sim meeting somewhere down the road from him. So otherwise he could have told you, but he really got excited. He's in the game now with Ryanair and he's flying all over. He's had one rank up already. He's building his hours and he's thoroughly enjoying it. And that got me excited about the Ryanair thing myself again. Got some good points, good hours during the week, and I thought might as well stream one of those flights now for you guys. And I just made myself some nice coffee so we can enjoy it either which way we go. Right, so let's step through this baby. Let's see what we are looking at. Bit of a zigzag there. Alright, now we're going to look at the RNP on-nav approach over there, and everything looks fine. I think this is going to be a lovely flight. According to the flight planner, it says we're going to be airborne about 1 hour 25 minutes, and gives us enough time to have a nice chat. Sorry for the noise, they are busy moving furniture here. If it becomes a problem, please let me know. I'll mute the mic a little bit. Paul, you always ask these complicated questions. In the aircraft, I think, well, first of all, on the charts, it will tell you what the magnetic variation is. In the aircraft, you can actually change your magnetic to true heading over there. I have no idea how to do it in the Zibo, to be quite honest. I'm not even going to try and lie to you. I don't know if it's possible, but I recall way back in the day in PMDG, we were able to change the magnetic to true heading and so on. But I think the main difference is literally the aviation charts, everything adapts to the deviation, and the only reference you have, the only thing that will tell you that you have a deviation is just on the charts. It will tell you there's a deviation. So I mean, if the air traffic controller in North America or in South Africa, Australia, UK, Europe, wherever tells you to fly heading 330, obviously everything in that place, is designed to go and work with 330. It's not as if you're going to have to do a calculation and go change, and add 10 or subtract 20 to get to maybe use 240 to get to 330 kind of a thing. Everything is geared to work in every area the way it should work. So that's what I can imagine. I've never ever had to compensate for magnetic variation ever, because all the charts, everything is drawn up to make use of that location's information. Let me show you this quickly. Just did a quick search. For instance, everybody wants to make it simple. I mean, pilots are very clever, but they're also not the sharpest pencil, in the packet every single day. We've all got our off days, and you don't want to catch a guy off guard and then he goes, oh goodness, now I'm going to die. Let's see. Now this charts don't want to show, but I'm going to drag it across the screen for you quickly. Right, so this is Johannesburg. This is where I'm at right now. Alright, and if you look at this side of things, there it shows me the magnetic variation is minus 18 degrees. And that is about the only indication that I will have that there is a difference in magnetic direction. But I mean, all the runways get aligned and numbered according to the magnetic variation. So you won't even know there's a difference unless you know about it. I hope that helps. Something that's just popped in my mind, it's like Zulu time. I mean, the whole aviation world has standardized on Zulu time. Everybody takes off. If I say I take off 10 a.m. Zulu, and you say you're taking off 10 a.m. Zulu, it really doesn't matter where we are on Earth. It's going to be exactly the same time. Technically, and in the area that you're at, you're going to have your local time, but nobody uses local time in aviation. Everything runs off the Zulu time. So same scenario there. Otherwise, I mean, that could lead to some dangerous confusion, Alright, so we've just crossed our 20-minute mark there. Let's continue with our setup. No, Ora, no, not that lucky. I would give a lot of things away today just to be in Cape Town, for instance. Much prefer Cape Town. I am in Randburg. The suburb is called Randburg.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
Ladies and gentlemen from the flight deck, this is your captain speaking. On behalf of all the crew, welcome on board this flight. We expect
Sounds like a plan, Ora.
weather en route is looking pretty smooth. Shortly, the cabin crew will be showing you a safety demonstration. This is for your safety and for those around you, so please give them your full attention. Once again, you're very welcome on board.
Hi, Adam. I am okay. How are you doing?
Ladies and gentlemen, mobile phone and tablets are permitted to use for the whole duration of the flight in airplane or flight mode. If your device does not have airplane or flight mode, it needs to be switched off now and remain switched off for the whole duration of the flight. Thank you.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready to connect.
Absolutely, yeah. Orbex knows what they're doing with the scenery. I'm busy doing my Orbex tour in the Cessna 182 on Sunday. So if you guys want to join me tomorrow, you're welcome. It can be kind of boring because it's long flights in the little Cessna 182, but it's like a dream of mine, and I'm flying from Orbex Airport to Orbex Airport, all the way from San Diego up to Juneau. And
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
anyway, so like I said, that's like a dream of mine, and one of the reasons I'm doing it is just obviously to use my Orbex scenery, and I kind of like it. So let's go.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
Adam, not today. No, I prefer not to fly on VATSIM when I do streaming because it has interfered with my plans a little bit before. So it's easier to just have full control myself, and then I do what I need to do, and I fly on VATSIM afterwards. Or tell you what, if we do a group flight, we can do that on VATSIM. We were actually trying to do one last night with Join FS, but that didn't really work out, so we said we'll try again today later on VATSIM. I do, but for some reason, Adam, my Join FS died last night out of the blue, just for no reason whatsoever, and I haven't had time to try and fix it. Well, if everything goes well, we want to do a bit of a group flight later on this evening, and we were talking about doing Seattle to Spokane.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
And I'm gonna...
Disconnecting tow. Stand by.
Sorry, the guy keeps on talking. I'm going to try do that on VATSIM, so if you want to join us later on, you're more than welcome. Just keep an eye out for the stream then.
is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Adam, by the time we fly later on this evening, it's going to be early morning in America, and there might or there might not be ATC. I actually think there might not be ATC, which is one of the reasons we want to fly in that specific area. Obviously, if a VATSIM controller from Europe decides to go there, or one of the guys wake up early, we're gonna have ATC. So then it will be a little bit more difficult, but you've just got to practice. You know, go to the VATSIM Resource Center and start reading up. You know, learn a lot. Learn as much as you possibly can. You know, prepare yourself. Once you're prepared, it's not that bad. Alright, everything seems fine. Looks like we can go now. Adam, there are videos on YouTube that I followed. This new client, Swift client, really confused me totally. So I also just went to YouTube and found some videos, and then I installed it, because you need to get the Bluebell scenery with the elevation fix, and you need to set up the Swift client properly. But the best advice I have is to go check out YouTube.
Cabin is secured. Have a good flight.
Give it a shot. I'm pretty sure it's not that difficult. It's confusing, but it's not really difficult. Just take it easy when you do it. Alright, we are configured to go. Unless there are any objections, I'm going to taxi onto the runway and hit toga. Let's go.
Approaching 2-2.
Guys, just as a reminder, my private hangar link in the description below the video is there for all you guys to use. My latest checklist is in there as well. I've included now the anti-ice and the de-icing and the air starter unit in the new format, so please feel free to go download that one. It's in the Explain 11 Zibo checklist folder. Gear off and auto brakes off. Okay, so we have various height restrictions over here. I'll just zoom in a little bit there. You can see it's going to block us on 4,000, then 5,000, then 6,000. So that's one of the reasons when I chose the takeoff performance data on the FMC. I just used the takeoff D-rate 2 as well as the last option on the right hand side for your climbing, because there's no point in blasting full power, it's just going to block you anyway. So we're taking a lazy climb with a nice takeoff. Right, flaps are up again. There we go. So I say up now. Yeah, in the distance, you can see there's looks like a bit of moisture off onto the horizon. That's a nice way of saying it. Well, it depends on whether it's moisture or whether it's actually smoke. I don't think this is smoke, eh, Ora? This is the UK. I don't think they've got all the fires that we have, so it's possibly just a little bit of moisture. How are you doing there, Craig? Are you winning? Your flight going okay?
Yeah, fantastic, Nico. Just heading back to Manchester in a minute. Just flying over Birmingham, just on the approach to
Okay.
23 right at Manchester.
Awesome.
Weather's really cleared up in the UK. It was quite overcast this morning, but it's cleared up.
Yeah, by my side it's also quite clear. A little bit of clouds now appearing in front of me. This is very interesting, guys, on the stream. When I look at my screen, I can see the engine heat. You guys actually see it as black. I don't see it as black. Mine is absolutely transparent. I wonder what on earth this OBS Studio is now doing, this Streamlabs. They did an update 2 days ago, and ever since then I've had weird things happen. No, I didn't. There you go. Now yours looks like mine. I wonder why. I wonder why this Slops is doing this. Very strange.
Seems to have cleared up again now, Nico. Just about 2 or 3 minutes, just a black smoke, but it's cleared.
Yeah, I've noticed it's clear. Now it looks like what I see it, but let's go back inside and come back out. Let's have a look. This is why I first noticed it while I was looking at that racetrack. I noticed very strange. Oh, that's warming up for the next step climb. 6,000, and then after Clacton we should be able to climb unrestricted. I'm wondering if the technicians on the ground didn't add some or other cleaning agent, you know, so we were burning the carbon out of those engines for a while there. Yeah, funny.
Altimeter setting.
Right, so we're gonna cross the ditch just now, and then we're gonna hit Europe sometime in the next 5 or so minutes. I have a question for you guys. When you fly in this area with a Zibo or any other Boeing or Airbus for that matter, do you guys also get, once you reach your cruising altitude, a very, very low FPS? Mine was gone for a long time, and then all of a sudden it started, and I'm not sure whether it was the X-Plane update that causes that or what happened, but I'm curious to know if you guys have seen something like that.
Yeah, it's always an interesting one, the frame rate, Nico. As I say, with me, as I'm just panning out of the UK, it's pretty low, and then as soon as you touch Europe, it's you know, it picks back up again. It's always hit and miss.
Strange. I was reading a post on one of the Explain Itself groups the other day on Facebook. The guys actually said it's the particle system that's causing it. And the workaround is you need to go into Plane Maker and you need to switch the particle system off. The problem is you can't do that with a Zibo anymore. The moment you do that, you kill the plane. It's been locked down, so you can't go and fiddle with it anymore. Not like in the old days. So that is no good for Zibo, and it's no good for a lot of other aircraft that I fly. So I'm wondering, I'm just left wondering, you know, what are we to do? Right now I'm pushing 35 frames. It's dropped to 30 now. See, outside I get the extra 5 or so frames. Oh, Yoki, it's crazy. You know, if it's something that you can reproduce, you know, by certain doing something, you know, it's something that you can fix. But right now it's just, you can't do anything to it because you don't know what it is. Paul, it's only the only place I get it is in Europe. The only place that I get it now. So, Craig just said he gets it in the UK, and when he goes to Europe, it's gone. So, I was actually wondering if it's not something to do with explain code, you know, in a certain area. But now he's just debunked it. You know, he gets it in a different area than what I do. So it's difficult. I mean, when I fly in the US, I can't say I've ever seen it, and in South Africa, I cannot say I've ever seen it. But for some reason, once I get to the Dutch coast, from there on, it's a little bit, and then when I cross the Alps, it's always somewhere there around about the Alps. Which zoom level are you referring to, Paul? Because I've got a map open that's at a certain zoom level, and then I've also got ortho at a certain zoom level. So help a guy out there, please. Which one are you referring to? Paul, I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I use zoom level 17 almost all over the world. The only place where I use zoom level 16 is like in a desert somewhere, you know, where you want orthos but you don't care for that much detail. So the whole of the Karoo here in South Africa is in zoom level 16, for instance. I did some patches of the Nevada desert in 16, but I mainly use zoom level 17 all over, and it doesn't matter in Europe where I go, if it's the Alps, if it's the flatlands, if it's Holland, Belgium, UK, they're all zoom level 17 over here. So I don't know. I've never done any tests to verify if the zoom level will affect the frame rates, to be honest.
It's an interesting point, Nico.
The one thing that I did do is I removed the extra HD mesh, because ortho obviously creates its own mesh, so I don't need any mesh underneath ortho. So I took out all that massive, I mean, gigabytes upon gigabytes worth of terrain mesh that was just sitting there doing nothing. Yorkie, strangely enough, I don't have that kind of an issue. I can, you know, pan around, look in and out. What I usually do when I get the low FPS, I look up like this. The moment I don't see the ground kind of a thing, when I look, you know, up into the sky, my FPS comes back. You know, then I look back down to quickly see where I'm at and what I'm doing, and then I just look back up. That's my workaround at this point in time, but it's kind of stupid. Really not on. It seems we are almost at our cruise altitude. Good morning, George.
Again from the flight deck, your captain speaking. We've just reached our cruise altitude and the seatbelt sign is now off. Feel free to move around the cabin, but we do ask if you are in your seat that you do keep your seatbelt loosely fastened in case we do experience any unexpected turbulence. Otherwise, invite you to sit back, relax and enjoy the flight.
Right, so we have 180 nautical miles before top-off descent. We'll start prepping about 100 nautical miles out and then run through the checklist. George, it depends on how much of a thrill seeker you are. I tend to, cater for my customers. So some days we do it hot and wild, and the other day, like today, this was actually kind of cool. Because of all the height restrictions in the UK, you have to do 3 or 4 step climbs before you're actually released to do your normal climb. So you go up to 4,000, then 5,000, then 6,000, and then you can climb. So this was kind of relaxed. We did a D-rated takeoff 2 and we did a climb 2 as well. So it was actually quite relaxing. I think there's a couple of guys sleeping at the back. I better take some more coffee. Let's quickly drink some more. We don't want the pilot to sleep. When my kids were still little, small, when we used to drive in the car and we go to the sea or somewhere on a long drive, I would, wait a little while and I would look at them and I said to them, please wake me up when we get there. And you would see their little eyes go, no, you can't do that. You can't sleep while you're driving. That was always funny. Oh, and another thing, coming back to this whole FPS story, there are quite a few areas in Europe that I don't even have orthos. I literally have it around the big centers, the main airports or something like that. There's a whole bunch of holes in there. Greg, I'm just sitting here wondering out loud, maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe we get the good FPS, with the ortho, but the moment we go to the stock standard explain, we go, it dies. That's something I want to test. Not today, but I'll test that for us.
Yeah, sounds good. I mean, sometimes mine's just around the big cities, when there's a lot of build-up. But it's definitely a problem, I think, but it's to be found out, I think.
Yorkie, yeah. Because for us it's about 8-hour drive to get to the coast. We usually leave about 3 a.m. and we do the same story. We leave early so they can sleep, until what time ever they wake up. Now they usually wake up anywhere between 7 and 8. In a good morning they'll wake up at 8. So we've got a fair amount of hours that we've covered without how far are we there yet, all those kind of things. Yeah. We also use the iPad and the tablets and stuff, cell phones, you know. Load up a bit of a couple of gigs before we leave, and then, you know, once they get bored of all the movies we preloaded, they start watching YouTube or something now. They're old enough to look after themselves now, at least. Right, let's start looking at our descent preparation here. So I'm going to use my tablet because I've got WebFMC loaded here. It's just a little bit easier, and then go fiddle with all those buttons. I'm trying to get into the habit of using the tablet a little bit. That is done. Go to our forecast. Let's have a look, see the transition altitude. Navigraph, where art thou? Let's have a look, see. 5,000. 050. Current ISA deviation is 7. Where's my thingamading? Come here. Right. 1023 on the QNH. George, not right now. We're planning on doing an online flight later on this evening in America. Then we'll do it online. This is just for fun right now. Right. Let's go grab our winds. Right, that takes care of that. Let's look at our charts now. We are going to do an RNAV arrival onto runway 140. We're going to do LNAV, VNAV. We'll do a nice EN approach here. We're going to do... What is our minimums? 395. I'm now 395, and I completely forgot the QNH again. 1023. 1023 on standby. And 1023. George, you mean to install and configure the client, or just how to use it in X-Plane? Oh, sorry, I've just read your question again. Sorry, I'm blonde. That was a blonde moment. George, there are so many tutorials already. I can point you to some of it, and in fact, let me go grab one, the one that I used, and then you guys can just use it quickly. if Adam is still around, Adam, this one can work for you too. But I never thought of putting a link in earlier, sorry guys. Let me give you the one that I used. Right, so this link I'm giving you is specifically for the new Swift client. I don't think there's any reason to continue using XSquawkBox. The only difference would be XSquawkBox if you are using a single monitor setup, single screen with X-Plane. It's going to be to your advantage to stay with XSquawkBox. Just set up your audio properly, because that is in-game. Otherwise, if you use Swift, you're going to have to alt and tab out of X-Plane to get to the client. The programmer didn't think far enough ahead to realize that not everybody uses multi-monitor configurations, so that's unfortunately a little bit of a drawback. Okay, what I'm going to do here, and the reason this is open, is I want to set up the ILS in standby mode so that if we actually do need to use the ILS, we can do that. I don't see any reason why we would, but we're going to do it anyway. 110.90. George, I want to tell you a story about that. Give me a second, let me just do this ILS thing and then I'll tell you a story about that video. 110.90. Okay. 110.90, that's on standby, and our course heading is 136. I don't know if you guys have noticed that if you leave comments on my videos, you don't see it immediately. That's because I actually moderate the comments. If I don't do that, you guys must check the absolute garbage people type in comments, the attacks, the hatred, the absolute, I don't even know how to actually describe it in English. I don't have that gift of flowery speech yet in English, but in Afrikaans it's a bunch of rubbish that they type. And the funny thing with that specific video about the ortho, and I had it with the X camera as well, and a couple of those were the two main ones. I had so many attacks on those videos, people telling me how useless I am, how rubbish I am, what nonsense I'm talking, how much I'm lying, and why can't I just do it correctly, and why do I have to lie to people, and I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, I've got almost 6 terabytes worth of ortho created in exactly the same way. It works. The guys that come and talk all the nonsense don't tell you why they are fighting with you. They don't tell you why they think it's rubbish. They don't tell you why they think you are rubbish. But it's crazy, the amount of flack that you pick up because you try and do a little tutorial for somebody, you know. So anyway, I just delete all those comments and you guys will never see them. And then I obviously flag some of them, I report some of them to YouTube themselves, and I've actually banned a few guys off my channel, so they'll never be able to comment on any of my videos ever again. But that's interesting, you know, you get guys like you who love the tutorial, who actually find value in it, and then you get those idiots who go, well, whatever. You see, yeah, bollocks. Anyway, okay, look, if it comes down to it that you can't follow this other video, yes, thank you, George, thank you. If it comes down to the point where you cannot follow this other guy's tutorial, please tell me, and then I'll do the effort, just because you are my people. I mean, I'd love to help you. If it means I have to make a separate tutorial for you guys, then we'll do that. You know, I don't mind doing that. But at least give this other one a shot. Let's see what that gives, and then we can look at the tutorial for you if we really need to. Alright, so let's get our seatbelt signs on. Everything else is configured. MCP is correct. my throttles have been pulled back, the actual levers, because otherwise they interfere with the Zibo code again.
Nico, thanks for your hospitality. I'm leaving now, so wish you a very good, safe landing into Dortmund, and hope everyone has a nice afternoon.
100%. Thank you so much, Craig. Thanks for being here and enjoying the company. Thanks so much.
Take care. Bye bye.
Bye bye. Paul, I know of one very silly mistake I made one day, and that was in the Mario tutorial video. And I mean, I can't go and delete the whole video just because of that one silly mistake. So I'm not sure whichever one you're referring to, but look, I mean, things happen, you know. I can only apologize for it. You know, I try my best, but you know, I'm only human. So you'll have to enlighten me in a messenger message or something, and then we'll see if we can fix that for you. I'm too much of a perfectionist. I don't like mistakes because I don't like to teach people incorrectly. Yeah, I mean, even to this very day, I am still trying to teach people how to install the Zibo correctly, because another YouTuber made one silly mistake, but everybody's listening to him. You know, so I don't want to be in the same situation. And even during the week, I had a conversation with one of the Zibo developers, and he actually told me that I did make a mistake in one of my other streams that he was watching the other day, a week or two ago, and he didn't like what I did because it also teaches people incorrectly. And that was the beginning of me rewriting my checklist, you know, to actually do it properly, in a way that is actually technically correct for a real world pilot as well. So I've just followed the link. My one works. I'll try copy and paste it again. Let's see. I must just find my Firefox somewhere here. Copy. Okay, I'm going to send this via the chat facility, not via YouTube. Let's have a look, see if the Streamlabs chatbot will allow this link better. Right, there's the link again. If you can't click on it and it doesn't open immediately, what I suggest is just copy the link. You know, highlight it, right click, copy, paste it into your browser, and then try it. But I would prefer you actually stick around for the landing and then go do that afterwards, if I may ask, with your permission, obviously. Hey, somewhere, good morning. George, the comments take about 3 hours to render, and then they come back to the stream. YouTube allows, I think, 2 hours per stream, and thereafter they start adding rendering time. And the rendering time on my videos are about 3 hours, I've seen. So if you come back 4 hours later after the video broadcast, you'll see all the comments are there, everything is in place. I actually had a bit of a fright in the beginning. I also thought, oh no, what's this nonsense? You know, I mean, the comments are part of, you know, the streams. George, go, while you're sitting here waiting for me to land, go quickly have a look at any of my old videos. You'll see all the comments are there, but it takes time to render. That's just a YouTube thing, it seems. You know, they need time to render everything. I'll investigate that, Paul. It's possible that it was my doing, because David wrote the C list for me and he then gave it to me, and I could have messed it up after that. George, it's not a setting, no. I've just clicked on one of my old videos and it just appears. It's a natural YouTube phenomenon. It just shows. George, if you stand by 1 second, I'm going to quickly do a screenshot for you. I've selected the flight training basics with Zibo video, and if I skip a little bit forward into the video, this is what I get. There's a screenshot for you. Definitely works, my friend, definitely works. Press the wrong button. Now they're getting to different stories. Right, there's the scene. Okay, Paul, I'll have to investigate, my friend. I don't know. I was speaking to David in the week and I told him, you know, based upon the real world Zibo test pilot guy, we need to change the sequence of things a little bit and so on. And David said, yeah, well, when he's got time, he'll fix it. So you'll probably get a new C list not too long from now. Right, so we are on this RNAV approach now. Excellent, Paul. I think anybody who knows what it does and how it works would have spotted that mistake. I have had very good review from that checklist. So obviously you're talking a more advanced user that goes and fiddles with those things. So kudos to them. Alright, and there's our cue to go to QNH. Let's go to flaps 5. Well, Paul, I have no idea what you said there, but the bot didn't like it. So apologies for that. It is a bit restrictive. I can't reverse it. It's just the way it is. Sorry about that.
Thousand to go.
Right, there's the runway in front. Let's see how far we are out. But that's better. About 10 nautical miles. I don't know. I don't know. I think because of the choice of being a family-orientated channel, it's more restrictive than being, you know, marked as an adult audience kind of a thing. So I think that's got something to do with it. Alright, so approach button goes on because we want to ride this thing. And it's not working because it was above the glide slope. So there we go. Get off the autopilot. And let's fly this puppy by hand. Brake is armed. The brake is armed. Gear is down.
Seat stabilized, Mr. Perch, altitude set.
Approaching 1-4 left.
Oh, you guys can enjoy your chats there. I'm just not going to look at that screen because then inevitably I'll make a mess of the landing. So I'll be with you just afterwards.
5, approaching minimums. 400, minimums. 300. 200. 100. 50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Thank you so much. I was talking so much I never used the lights. Shame. Come now. Right, transponder can come off. It's gonna be hard to get off the Zibo. Unless you have a purpose to fly long haul, it's gonna be difficult. Yeah, I know the feeling. A change is as good as a holiday. I tend to stick to the short hauls. The long hauls don't really appeal to me. So I fly 1, 2, maybe 3 hours at a time, and that's it. So I tend to alternate between jar design and the Zibo. You know, fly the Airbus, then the Boeing, Airbus, then the Boeing kind of a thing. Yeah, I think a lot of guys have switched from PMDG and the P3D stuff to come over to explain just because of Zibo. When I fly the PMDG, and I did it the other day again, it's like there's something missing. The immersion just isn't there. I miss the tablet. I miss the sequence of doing things. I miss working out my own, you know, doing my own calculations in certain aspects where they've got all these some shortcuts built into it, you know. And I really prefer the Zibo much more. Yeah, George, that's the big thing. We get bored. Roland, I think from what I've heard, I do not have my personal experience. Maybe the other guys can chime in here, but what I've heard is Pilot to ATC is the better ATC program. The bonus with X-Life is just that you get AI with it, but you know that's going to be a personal choice for you. Okay, one last replay and then we'll taxi to the stand. Well, if you add AI, it's going to use FPS. So Pilot to ATC doesn't add AI as far as I know, so you should have better FPS. But if you've got a monster of a machine, then it wouldn't matter anyway. Yeah, somewhere I tend to agree. I think I've spoken to enough real world pilots in my life to get exactly the same vibe from them, and I've spent a lot of time in the jump seat with the guys in real world, and I didn't get the same feeling from PMDG. I think for a long time, with the greatest love and respect to the guys, they had a monopoly, and everybody were using them as the measuring stick. And then Zibo came along, and he showed us that what we thought was study level wasn't really study level, and things happened. Um, the thing that's really funny for me is when I get somebody who's asking for Zibo support, and his only defense is I've got 10,000 hours on the PMDG, and I laugh at him because number one, he can't align the IRSs, number two, he can't get the V speeds on the flaps because, you know, those things are just, you know, it's not modeled correctly, for instance. So we get all kinds. Me personally, I don't mind flying PMDG. I still do it from time to time, like I said. But there's no ways that I will prefer that above the Zibo, ever. Yes, ATC is definitely the weak link. The explain default ATC is nonsense. It will fly you into a mountain for no reason. So don't even go there. The ATC for me, if I want ATC, I get on VATSIM and then I go fly ATC. When I used to do the pilot edge thing, I used to go fly pilot edge, and then you get proper ATC on pilot edge and kind of reasonable ones on VATSIM. But that's how I get ATC. Otherwise, I vector myself. I don't use any ATC program. I don't really see any need for it because it can never simulate properly the real world stuff. It's just a nice to have for me. They shouldn't have to do it for you. If you go to your VATSIM control panel yourself, you should be able to reactivate it there yourself. You're asking the wrong people, I think. That's why you're not getting a response. You need to ask the correct people. You need to speak to the membership director of your division. Or find another membership director. But as far as I know, it's as easy as logging into the system and just reactivating yourself. Well, do a password reset. Just do a password reset, man. I don't have access to the staff stuff anymore. I resigned from VATSIM. I don't think I'll ever be a staff member there again. I've had enough of the internal politics and uselessness of some of the big boys. I will fly with their network, but I don't want to go and fight with them the whole day. You don't need an ATC program because you've got live people providing ATC, Roland. But don't go fly there if you don't know what you're doing. You're going to have to study up a bit and you're going to have to learn proper procedures because the guys try and fly quite realistically. So don't go onto the network if you don't know what you're doing. You're welcome. Alright, did you land? Is that what you mean? Hey, Koeln. No, this EDDK is from the org. The link is in the description below the video. Just go to show more and then you'll find the link there. Now you've missed the flight, my friend. Unfortunately, you're gonna have to wait for the video now. Right, brake set. Chocks set. APU generators are both on. Fuel pumps and all these things we can do after our start levers. So let's get rid of the start levers. Right, those can go off. Right. APU bleed and isolation valve. Seat belts off. Lights off. And we can open the doors. And we can terminate our flight leg. There you go. We are going to fly again later this evening. We're going to do a US flight, and then I'm probably going to do that on Batsim to see if we can get like a group flight going. It's also about an hour flight. We're going to fly from Seattle to Spokane, which is an awesome flight, and I made some ortho for that as well. So what we're going to do is invite you guys. If you want to join us, look out for the stream and the flight around about 1700 Zulu. That's the plan. Unless my family changes the plan, that will happen as advertised. Right, that takes care of today, I think. Guys, as always, it was nice having you here and nice chatting with you guys. I will see you guys later. Thanks for joining me, and enjoy your stay in Bonn today. We'll see you in America later. Bye bye for now.